All right, everyone, here we go. I had a viewer ask me if I actually had the 51-piece Gearwrench set in a 120 XP. I do, and I actually bought this set as well, which is the 51-piece Gearwrench set, which is the exact same set in quarter inch, but this is 90 tooth. The reason why I bought the 90 tooth instead of the 120 tooth is because I already have the 120 tooth at home, and I wanted something for my journey bag, and I liked the kit so much, but I didn't want to spend a ridiculous amount of money for it. This was almost half the price of what the 120 XP was. I believe this was 65 bucks, and the 120 XP has been going for like 120 bucks, somewhere in that area. So I decided to buy this one, and I actually like the 90 tooth a little better. We can take a look at the picture and see what we have here. We actually have a spinner in the box. Full set of deep metrics, deep standards, universal, shallow metric, and shallow standards, ratchet, 2-inch extension, and a 6-inch extension. Flip it around, we'll look at the sizes here. We go from 3/16 all the way up to 9/16, from 4mm to 15mm, and that's going to be our standard depth sockets. And then our deep sockets, we go 3/16 all the way up to 9/16, and from 4mm all the way up to 15mm. And it doesn't look like we have any skip sizes. This has the 5.5 in it that most sets don't have. 6mm. Some of them skip a 7mm. I don't know how you can, put a set out without a 7mm in it. It seems like everything has 7mm in it. Like I said, you have a 2-inch and a 6-inch extension, 1/4-inch universal, and you have a thumb wheel and a ratchet. Like I said, the only difference between these two kits is the kit I'm getting ready to show you, which I have at the house, is a 120 tooth, and this kit is a 90 tooth. The only difference is the ratchet, really. You can see this one's actually used a little bit. This is the one I keep at home. This is the first set I bought, and then when I decided to put a journeyman set together, because of how bad the truck is, the service truck is, trying to look for something, trying to find something, wondering who has it, trying to hunt it down in the shop, because someone lost their 10mm and they decided to take the one out of the service truck. I just got so tired of it, I just went ahead and bought Gearwrench and 1/4-inch, 3/8 drive, and 1/2-inch drive in these sets right here. I believe I've done a review on all of them except this particular one is the 1/4-inch drive set. Like I said, you can see here you get quite a bit here. I mean, there's a number of sockets right here, number of deep sockets and standard, metric, standard, thumb wheel, 6-inch extension, 2-inch extension, and a universal. This universal, yeah, I'm not too keen on it. It's an awful big universal. Any of these aftermarket ones that I've seen, they have nothing on Snap-on or some of these other manufacturers. I wouldn't depend on getting in a tight spot with this to save my life. It's nice to have if you got nothing, but I mean, if you really wanted to keep this set or use this set at work, I would 86 this one, actually get a Snap-on universal. That's the only really downfall that I don't like about this set. One of the reasons that I bought the 90 tooth is like I said, it was less expensive, and then when I got it, I like the ratchet better than I like this 120 tooth. This seems to have a lot of, it's very tight as far as one click to the next, but there's so much back drag to this thing. It seems so stiff. The 92 seemed to be so much better, and it looks like the same exact ratchet if you set them side by side, other than a couple cosmetic things on the outside here and maybe a little thicker. But I think the 90 tooth ratchet is a better ratchet in my opinion. You'll see this additional socket in here. This is something that I made. I've had this for a long time. This is a 5/16 socket, and I believe it's a T40, I believe. I can't remember. I used to use this quite a bit during the 90s. And I believe I used to use it on some of the intakes on the Fords, on the 5.8, I believe. So I used to use this on. I'm not 100% positive, but this used to go on my long 1/4 inch ratchet. Used to go down the center intake and be able to pull those out. And I believe I used this on a few Ford manifolds as well, if I remember correctly. I think 3.0s, maybe. But I wanted a 1/4 inch one. They wanted a crazy amount of money to actually make one with snap-on, and I wanted it not, you know, super deep or anything like that, or long. I wanted it real compact. So I glued this down here. I don't remember if I epoxied it, if I used the yellow snot on it, or door adhesive or whatever it is, emblem adhesive. But this socket has served me well. Like I said, you can get creative with some things if you don't want to spend a bunch of money. The only thing I actually did with this was cut the socket in half before Vim started making 5/8 half sockets or half bits. I was cutting them in half, and this is what I was doing with them. And this socket served me well. I still keep it in this set right here because it still comes in handy for some things. I want to say the last time I used it on a door lock actuator to get the latch assembly out. I'm not a thumb wheel guy, but you can see you get a thumb wheel with it here. It's like a composite thumb wheel. You see the Gearwrench emblem on it here, part number. It works okay. Like I said, I haven't used it in this particular set. I'm not really a thumb wheel guy. I haven't really had any application I really needed it for, and this thing has so much back drag in it, I wouldn't depend on it to really save my life. But that's just my opinion. I'm sure they do come in handy for certain things, but it takes a lot of resistance to turn this. I don't know if this is a 100 tooth or 120 tooth or anything like that. I just know that this is something I don't use. It was just a nice thing to have for the price of the kit. Quality of the extensions is really nice. They're knurled right here. Chrome is not too bad on them. Haven't had any issues with any of the extensions of either set. Haven't any problems with the ball falling out, sticking, not holding the socket. All that seems to work very well. One issue that I have had is, I believe it is the 8mm. That's a 7. That is the 8. I've had to replace this socket twice. Some reason I crack these very easily. This is the second one that I've had. I haven't broken any of the other sockets in here, but this 8mm I've cracked twice. Hopefully this one gives me a better go around than all the rest of them, but I tend to use this a lot when changing batteries and some of the Fords and stuff for the hold down post. Sometimes they get really rusty down in there because the water sits down in the tray. And that's where I tend to usually break them, or a corroded battery terminal, something along that lines. Occasionally, working on a dash or something like that, and I might find that I crack these as well. But this is the third one I've been on. I haven't had any issues with any of the other sockets, but I've cracked this one 3 times. Like I said, this goes up to 15mm. This is probably going to be the most comprehensive kit that you're going to get. It covers all the way down to, what did we say, 4mm? All the way up to 15mm. That's a pretty good large variety, especially for deep and shallow. And these do have the engraving on it. They're just kind of hard to see. And you can see that I've got my use out of some of these already. That's the 15. This should be the same 4mm. This should be our 3/16. All the way up to 9/16. So like I said, a pretty good variety, and the same thing goes for the shallow over here. 9/16. This should be our 3/16. So good variety sockets here. As far as this ratchet goes, I really like how slim and compact it is. It's a comfortable ratchet and everything. It's just this back drag is, I don't know, it's pretty rough. It looks nice, but it doesn't function as well as the 90 tooth in my opinion. Other than that, that's all my only complaint about this. And originally, the only reason I went with the 90 tooth was, like I said, it was less expensive. It was half the price of this 120 XP. But after using the ratchet and the 90 tooth, I really like the 90 tooth better than the 120. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this aside. All in all, I really don't feel that this is a bad set for 51 pieces and $65. Like I said, this is the most comprehensive kit that you'll get for that kind of money. And again, this is lifetime warranty. They have a phenomenal warranty service. Fill out a warranty form on their page, take a picture of it. If they feel that it's a warrantable item, it's not something that has to be sent in, they're going to send you a new socket in the mail. So very impressed with this company as well. This is right up there with Tekton. I think the quality of the Tekton is better. I just didn't care for their layout as far as how large the box was, as far as being portable. I like how small this is. This is probably less than 12 inches by 6 inches. So this is very compact. I really like that. The hinges back here aren't anything to write home about. They're actually plastic and part of the case. But the latches on this are a lot better than most. They're not going to break off. They're not part of the case. They're two separate pieces. So a little bit better quality than most of the cases that you get. So all in all, I think it would hold up very well. I usually use this as in a pack out system and carry multiple tools with me that I can roll onto the back of the flatbed of the truck, lift it up with the tailgate, and strap it in and be able to go do my job instead of having to fish through all the garbage that the other guys like to leave behind in the truck, or fish around for tools that just aren't there. So like I said, this is a very comprehensive kit, and that's the reason why I bought it, is to put this in my journeyman kit and be able to have accessibility to anything I would possibly need when I'm in the field. And that being said, this is actually my home set, and I like the layout of it, and I like the variety of it, and that's why I bought it for my journeyman kit. So we'll kind of get off of this one, and I'm going to move to another one, which is my snap-on set. It's a smaller set, 3 of the same kind, but they vary in different years. But I'll show you some of the other things that I've used in the past. This is a snap-on, and you can get this case right here. It is still available. That is a PB24A case. They are still available. I actually bought this case right here because I had a number of tools in my toolbox of extras, and I decided to put these in here and be able to have some kind of storage, or if I wanted to take something with me, I had something to throw sockets in before I actually bought a more, a better variety of sockets in the kit, more expandable. As you can see, this is a snap-on set. It comes with a breaker bar, and we talked about this swivel right here. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that other swivel out and put it side by side so you can see what I was talking about. And that was one of the main reasons I did this video, to compare this to it. You can see how big and bulky that swivel is. It'll get the job done, but it's a whole lot bigger. Not very compact at all. So, like I said, if the only thing I would change about that kit is maybe put this swivel in that set, and I'm happier with the 90 tooth than I am with the 120 tooth in the other kit. That being said, we'll continue to move on with this snap-on set here. We have a 6-inch extension, 4-inch extension, a 2-inch extension, and this is their nut driver. I don't use a nut driver that often. They do come in handy. I haven't used this one a whole lot. Like I said, this is something I bought to actually store some of my tools, additional tools that I had, or sets, broken sets that I had to complete them. This is a particular ratchet I don't use a lot. You can hear how coarse the tooth is. This is an older one that I brought home. One of the things I don't like about it is one of these locking extensions. I believe the lock is actually broke on it. It's one of the ones I need to get warranted. But it drove me up the wall so much I didn't really care for it. So I haven't gone on my way to actually have it fixed. But it should be free in this position, and it should be locked in this one. You can hear that it clicks, but it does not lock because the little tab down in there is broke. But that's all there is to this kit. Usually what I would do is put the sockets I needed in here on the rails that I had, and take whatever I needed. Usually I had multiple boxes like this. I had 2 of these, and I would take whatever I needed with me. This is the second box. This is actually the same exact set. Breaker bar, universal 6-inch extension, 4-inch extension, 2-inch extension. Once again, we have a nut driver. Don't use them a whole lot, but I do have one if I ever need it. I have my intermediate deep set in here, and then I have my deep set going from 4mm to 15mm, and I believe these start at, I can't remember what these guys start at. I want to say they start at 5mm. Yeah, 5mm all the way up to 15mm. So I do have a shallow set here somewhere. I believe I took them to work, and I actually put them in a magnetic tray or Westling tray with the rest of my sockets. But this is a set that I used to use to go out on the job and just be able to have sockets, 1/4-inch sockets of whatever I needed. Such an expensive set. I always hated taking it with me, because when something walked off, it wasn't cheap to replace it. So, like I said, I ended up buying a cheaper set, and that's what I've done. I also have another set from this that I'm not going to review in this video, but I believe it's a 44-piece snap-on set, and it has deep, shallow, metric standard, just like we've seen in the Gearwrench case. I didn't bring it home with me. This is a set that I use at the shop all the time. I've had it for years. I believe that particular set's well over $800, $900 right now, which is crazy. Considering I think I paid like $500 for it back in the day. But this is was part of my journeyman set for odd jobs that I did. If I had to go out and change a battery or something like that, I needed tools quick to grab. This was it. Like I said, it was just so expensive to replace anything out of here, and it just didn't hold its place as well. Sometimes the sockets would come out of place. They didn't stay in there perfect all the time either. So, but this is a case that I bought and transferred some of the additional stuff that I had into it, and I even bought a few pieces too. And I believe that was the pieces I bought were and this kit right here. So I don't think any of them are missing, but some of these I bought additional. I think I bought the breaker bar because I didn't have a breaker bar, and I think I bought a universal because I have a universal. I had extensions, and I have a crazy amount of ratchets because over the years Snap-on has changed how many teeth they've had in the head, and the 88 has just been incredible ratchet. So I have quite a few of those, and then I still have quite a few of these because this is all they had back in the day. I don't know if this is 27 or a 36 tooth, but you hear how coarse it is. But works good for this right here. Keeps it out of my toolbox, has a place for it, and if I need to take it anywhere I can. This is the very first set that I bought. Before I actually bought the 44-piece Snap-on set that I've been telling you about. You can see that the clasp is different on the front of this. Not as good as quality as the other one. As you can see on this other one right here, it's a better quality snap. Kind of locks. So pretty good for what it is. This one right here is old. I've had it a long time. I probably had this for 35 years. You can see it still has some of my old stuff in it. I'm missing a 2-inch extension. Probably lost it in the field somewhere. I haven't replaced it yet. I probably need to. This is one of those things I keep forgetting about because I just don't use it as much as what I used to. You can see the swivel in this one's a lot older. It's got an older design on it. A lot smaller. And it has the old Snap-on logo on it. Same breaker bar. This is the long ratchet that I used in the video when I broke the bolt. I have one that replaced this. It's actually a 72 tooth, I believe. So I have one identical to it at work, and I brought this one home. I actually put it in this kit. Part of the reason why I bought some of these cases is to, have a place for some of these instead of just floating around in my box with some of the extra stuff I have. At least I can see what I have and it's organized. If I wanted to sell it, at least I know I can put a price on it by what's here. This is a Snap-on Flex extension. You can see I've got my use out of this guy. I've used this quite a bit. I remember using this on back in the day on a lot of distributors on 4-cylinders, on Mitsubishis and Hondas and stuff like that. Used to flex right around in there and be able to get that 8mm bolt off the bottom. Great extension. Obviously, you can see I need to get it warranted. I've obviously abused it on some things by using it for what it's not supposed to be used for, probably breaking bolts loose or getting to a bolt that I thought maybe it would break it loose and it didn't. This is another cheap extension. It's probably one that I had in the kit before I replaced it with the Snap-on one. I don't even remember what brand this is. Master Mechanic, I believe. Give you an idea how old that is. And it flops around. It's not very tight or anything. I've definitely got my use out of it, but this is just way more compact. Alright, like I said, that's not all my 1/4-inch collection, but these are just some boxes that I've collected over time. And like like I said, you can still buy those boxes. I purchased 2 of them to organize some of my stuff. Some of it I warrantied out to get new stuff, just like the nut driver handles. As you can see, the one in this set is actually an older one, and the plastic used to break on them occasionally. Not a very uncommon thing, but he allowed me to actually trade it in or replace it. And when I had it replaced, I ended up with this. So only downfall to it is you don't get the nut driver in the end. For can't use this like an extension. So this has the tri-lobe grip on it, which is actually kind of nice, but like I said, I don't use it very much. I had one with this particular kit, and I have a brake tool that actually clips on the end of this. It allows you to do the small retainer spring and the large retainer spring, and you can slide it on, click it, and do all that good stuff. So I have a couple of these still left. One I use for my brake tools, and this one in this kit. And like I said, I had other ones that I traded in because the plastic cracked on them. So, but that's kind of the story behind those, and that pretty much covers this Gearwrench set as well. This is the 120 XP. So I hope that clears up any questions or anybody's curiosity as far as like if they bought this, what actually comes with it. Like I said, this is probably the most comprehensive kit that you'll get for 65 bucks. There is other ones out there. I'm sure Genius Tools, Expert Tools. There's a number of companies out there actually making them. Tecton Tools actually makes a pretty comprehensive kit as well. I'm not too fond of their 1/4-inch drive stuff. It's not bad. I don't care for the ratchets. Just their 1/4-inch stuff just not my gig. I bought a few individual pieces, and it wasn't that they're bad sockets. They just seemed to be a little bit thick, so to speak. Didn't fit in the greatest of areas, and the shoulder down inside, and didn't give you much clearance. And they may have changed that since I purchased those sockets, but I don't have any really to do a review on other than maybe the old stuff that I have. So it's not giving them a very fair shake, but like I said, there's plenty of places out there to actually make a comprehensive kit like this. I think Nico has one, but like I said, the sockets are very thick around the edges when you buy some of those cheaper ones. I'm sure Astro Tools has a set. There's a number of companies out there that make one, but I think for the money, as far as this particular set, I think this set's worth every bit of $120. But if I had to do it over again, like I said, I'd buy this one, and that's what I did. I bought the 90 tooth because you can still find these out there. They're 65 bucks, and some people want a little more, whatever. But if you shop for it, you can find this for about 65 bucks, and this is a very nice kit. Same exact stuff that you see in this one, just going to get a different ratchet. So if you have any questions, let me know. I'll be glad to answer them below. Give me a like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any other questions about any other tools that I might have or do a video on, let me know. Talk to you later, and have a good night.